And to sit down in England, looking at other countries in Europe and what they do, the lowest child poverty rate was in Norway, less than 10%. And then to suddenly see during the pandemic, a country introduce a payment. I think it was £10 a week for children under 6 originally. And then increase that payment to all children in families receiving any kind of benefit, and there's argument of, heads around about £30. £4,000 for a family of 3, in effect. Funding that payment out of a slightly greater redistribution in the UK as a whole, but massively less than Germany, France and Spain or any normal European country. Don't think it's that progressive in Scotland. You're just better than England. But stunning. And now we are beginning to measure the effects and to see the effects. And we shouldn't have to do this. But the height differences you can see there in the surveys. It's an incredible thing. Or, as I said before, it's not reported in the press in London. So when I do talks in the South for the last few years, invariably, I've talked about our child poverty rates. I've talked about how many children have no holiday, don't do this, go hungry. How many babies have never been washed in warm water in Oxford. Because once you can't turn on the heat anymore, and a baby never gets used to being washed in cold water. This is Oxford. And I say, what can you do? And I say, there's a country in Europe which has done this. And I describe the scheme, and I get the audience to guess. And it always takes them more than 10 countries before they realise it's Scotland. And then my kind of punchline or joke is, but, obviously that's such a different country and they speak a different language and they've got a different culture. And we couldn't possibly do what they do in Scotland here, could we? It's an incredible thing. And I'm English and I'm out of it, and we're in the Parliament, but I'm not involved in Scottish politics. But I'm sure there's been an enormous amount of quiet talking to each other amongst MSPs about, I don't like this, I do like this, but at the moment it seems to me it's still off the table and accepted that even as the number of children in Scotland still goes down, because like everywhere else you're having less of them, that's why it gets cheaper, that this is not something which is debated as, shall we let them go hungry or not? Right. And I think it's very, very impressive. I really worry about how much it's hated in London.